nothing more satisfying than when your favourite author has a new novel out. So I'm actually mixing things up a little bit, because usually my book hauls comprise mainly library books, and there are quite a number of library books here, but a couple of them are actually bought by myself, because I like to occasionally support bookshops, so we will go with those first. First up is actually the only thing that we cannot read, and this is a teeny weeny little Slytherin notebook. I actually have the big sized one. This was £7.99 from Waterstones. It wasn't an impulse buy. I do need it. Maybe needs is not the right word, but it's adorable and I'm really impressed with the quality. It's just as well made as the bigger version. So the next two are actually from a local Daunt bookshop, and Daunt is a chain of books, a small chain of bookshops in and around London. And there's one right up the road from me and I love going in, but very rarely buy. But on this occasion I did. So the first one is one of those £1 Penguin books, little black classics. This is Flush, Virginia Woolf's biography of Elizabeth Barrett Browning's dog. I haven't read this yet, but being a die-hard Virginia Woolf fan, you can see her over my shoulder. Really looking forward to seeing how she's done this. Second up, we have The Streets of Hampstead. I already have The Streets of Belsize Park, and I thought this would be fantastic for my research, and they're such good books. I think you can get like The Streets of Highgate and Camden and maybe Islington, and they're so fascinating. On to the library books. So as you saw at the beginning, we have the latest Stuart MacBride book. Stuart MacBride is my favourite author ever. If you're unfamiliar, he's a crime fiction writer set in Aberdeen, and he's famous for his Logan McRae stories, but this is actually a standalone, and I'm going to start reading this today, and I will probably finish it tomorrow because his writing style is just so perfect. This one I didn't know it existed, but I saw it in the library and thought I need it. This is The Bloomsbury Women, and it looks at the women of Bloomsbury and their artistic influences. And of course, being a Virginia Woolf fan, as we know, and loving the Bloomsbury group, I think this is going to be great. This one's so fascinating. This is the Hampstead and Highgate Directory, 1885 to 1886. And as you would expect, it is the directory of all the streets in Hampstead and Highgate. And it does actually go down to like Belsize Park and a little bit of Swiss Cottage. And at the back we have all the streets. At the front we've got a lot of traders, local shops, and it's just such a beautiful little snapshot of history. I've read bits and pieces of it. I will read it in its entirety. 5 novels remaining, none of which I've read, so I can't really tell you too much about them. The first one is Peter Robinson's Watching the Dark. This is one of his DCI Banks books. I know a lot of people love Banks as a character. This is actually my first Peter Robinson book, so I'm really looking forward to delving into this and hoping that I can start a new obsession. Ruthless, which is either based on Scott and Bailey or is an adaptation, a novelisation of one of the Scott and Bailey stories. I'm not sure. Maybe you know. Maybe you can tell me. I loved Scott and Bailey, but I haven't seen the latest series. I didn't see that. But I think that I'm going to enjoy this because I really like the characters of Scott and Bailey. I think it's a brilliant series. Dance with the Dead, James and Nally. I have to admit, I got this because I really liked the cover. It sounded interesting. It's about a cold case unit. I love cold case units because it just makes you think of how many unsolved cases are out there and will they ever be solved. We just assume that most cases will be solved. And yeah, I had a quick flick through it. It looks like the writing style is something I'm going to enjoy. Penultimate, we have Summoning the Dead, a D.I. Bob Valentine case by Tony Black. I don't believe I'd heard of Tony Black, but it's got a lot of praise to it. It's published by Black and White, who I love. So again, this is another one that I have high hopes for. And last but not least, The Ice Twins by Sk Tremaine. I'll be honest, again, cover drew me in, and the back, we have the tagline. So it says here, I am Kirsty, I am Lydia, I lived, I died, or did I? And I just think, well, I need to know. I need to know what happened. So I'm very much looking forward to that. That's a HarperCollins publishing, who also publish Stuart MacBride, so that is good. Needless to say, out of all of those, I'm most looking forward to the Stuart MacBride one, and I will be tweeting about how amazing I'm sure it will be. If you have any recommendations for books that I should check out, and also let me know what you're reading at the moment. I'd love to know what you are currently in the middle of. Let me know in the comments, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!